Good morning and welcome to Tiger Bites. This is the section where we read your viewer comments and reply to any questions that you have. Now, joining me today is Mike.
Hello.
Hello, Mike. And that is because Tim is on holiday. He's off in some beach enjoying the sunny weather of Phuket. Oh, I don't know where he will be. Maybe in some hidden province that we have no idea about. However, let's get right to it. My first comment here today, Mike, is from A. Milton. And A. Milton says, "Hello, Tim and Jay from Kuritaba." Now, I have no idea where Kuritaba is. Do you know what Kuritaba is?
No idea.
Now, I had to Google it, I'm going to
Okay.
be honest. Kuritaba is the capital and the largest city in the Brazilian state of Parana. I don't know if I've said it correctly, or Parana. So, hello to you, A. Milton. It's great to see that we have fans in South America. That's pretty cool. Any comments? Would you like to start, Mike?
Yeah, okay, so we've got Warren S.
Okay.
has said, "Hello, I've stayed in Hua Hin. I go on a minibus and I love adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie and enjoy the speed and also the speedy arrival." And he's talking about, I think, the vans, the grey
Yeah.
vans that go around everywhere.
Yeah, I've normally only gone with the vans in Bangkok mostly. It's very cheap. It's 20 baht and they take you a crazy long distance. Have you ever been in a van?
Yeah, so I think a good few years ago we used to go on visa runs and they used to get in these big grey vans and they drive like absolute maniacs, like
Yeah.
insanely quick.
Yeah.
And you're scared the whole way through, like
Yeah.
on the wrong side of the road, non-stop, overtaking everything, and they're all pumped up on Red Bull and everything else, and so that's. I think now they've actually put limiters in Phuket within the actual grey vans to stop them driving like Meshuggahs. But it's an interesting experience. So Warren, we understand. I don't really like the adrenaline. I'm more scared. As opposed to anything else, but I'm glad you enjoy it, and we'll try and find you some vans that aren't limited.
Right, Mike, I've got a question here from Star Farish, and Star says, "You had a guest on your show about a week ago who spoke about a real estate scam in Phuket with foreigners involved. What was your guest's name, and how does someone contact him?" Now, Star, I've got good news for him because the man you're talking about is Mike Kenner.
That's me. That's me.
Yep, and we've got him all week today, so if you do have any questions for him, leave it in the comment section below.
Yep. And if you are one of the people that have been scammed, please get in contact with us. We'd
Yeah.
love to hear your story so we can try and bring some light to the situation. So, yeah, that's me. You can contact me on the YouTube comments, or I would give you my number, but probably a bad idea.
Too soon for that.
Too soon, yeah.
Too soon, Star. I've got another comment here from Mr. Fat or Mr. Pat. And he says, "I don't quite get it. Aren't the MPs allowed to vote no confidence? Why is that astonishing? Why is it being called a plot?" Now, he's talking about the no confidence, the 4-day no confidence vote that was taking place against the Prime Minister Prayut and his government. And he's talking about why the MPs are not allowed or allowed to vote no confidence. Now, Mr. Fat, to talk to you directly, the MPs are allowed to vote no confidence. However, it is very unlikely in Thailand that someone from the ruling party would actually vote no confidence and walk across the floor and go to the other side. That is highly unlikely. We don't think it's going to happen. And it would be astonishing if that happened, but it's not, because we're all expecting nothing to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the ruling party has the majority. It would be very unlikely that his own party would vote for no confidence against the leader. It would probably be unheard of in Thai politics.
That's correct. Now, Mike, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, so we've got one from Alex, and he says, "Talking zebra crossings, no one told me before I came here that motorbikes can drive on either side of the road. I almost got hit the very first time I crossed the road." Now, I think, Alex, that the people you're referring to, they're not actually allowed to drive on either side of the road unless you're on a one-way road, which they might be actually coming down both sides of the road, which is possible. But assuming that it was a two-way road, they're not usually allowed to do this, but Thailand, the laws are kind of very relaxed and flouted consistently.
Yeah, very loose. You have to look both to the left and the right to see if there's anyone coming like from the side, because sometimes you have those barriers in the middle of the road and they're too lazy to do a U-turn, so they'll just be like, it's just there, let me just drive on the wrong side of the road. It's very common here. And also other Asian countries, to be completely honest. But yes, it happens a lot in Thailand.
Yeah, so one of my tips of the day is walk and drive like people are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Because if you assume that everyone is trying to kill you, you will probably be safe. And that's a good defensive measure to take on, especially if you're driving a bike. Assume that everyone is trying to kill you and stay clear.
Right. Okay, moving on. I've got a comment here from XS Tencel, who says, why haven't any of the great British bands ever played in Bangkok? Now, I've actually thought about this myself. Like, growing up in Thailand, I've been here for about 20 years. We haven't had any, big famous bands like Scorpions, Eagles, or, I don't even know if they still tour, to be honest. But in Thailand in general, most of the big bands rarely ever come for a concert in Bangkok. Do you know of any British bands who've come to Bangkok?
Not necessarily. I think it's to do with, their tour circuit. I mean, traditionally it's going to be Singapore, and then, moving out maybe Hong Kong, and then to probably Australia. And I think this is down to a few things. One, English speaking. I mean, so a lot of the fan base, although there is lots of fans of English bands here, the majority are interested in Thai bands. So, the size is smaller. And also as well, Thailand isn't the richest country in the world and probably can't afford the extortionate fees that a lot of artists actually charge to go and watch them. So I think that, there are a good few bands that are going and touring. And, I've seen a few concerts within Thailand, but we would like to get more here. And I think as the market grows, I think we probably expect to see more tours happening.
Sure. Another comment from you, Mike?
Yeah, so Black Vegetarian in Thailand, very interesting name, has said, oh no, Mike is returning. And yes, I am returning actually.
Yes, he has returned, and for the whole week, Mr. Black Vegetarian in Thailand.
So I think maybe you was meant to write, hooray, Mike is returning.
Hooray, yeah, that's what he really means.
Yeah, so...
you're going to grow on him. You're going to grow on him.
But just leave me a message, Black Vegetarian in Thailand. Tell me how much you've enjoyed me today.
Right, yeah. Talking about our guests and people who work on the show, there's a direct comment here from Mr. Jason behind the buttons. And Albert Maynard says, Jason, first he says he's Filipino. Then he says he can't sing. Something doesn't add up. Now, Jason, a lot of people have questioned whether you really are Filipino because you have no musical talents. Do you have any musical talents?
No.
He does not. So, well, to be honest, Albert has a point. A lot of Filipinos are very talented in music, in arts, in singing. They're very creative people, aren't they?
Oh, brilliant. I mean, the majority of live bands in the tourist markets we see are Filipino live bands, and they're fantastic. Their voices are amazing.
Amazing singers.
Yeah.
They're just naturally talented. I don't know, or maybe they're just happy people who love to sing.
Or maybe it's a small minority that we see here.
Or that.
have come here to work in the bars and
True.
be doing live music. So, but yeah.
Anyways, Jason, we've got questions. All right, my last comment here today is from Annie Pima, who says, I'm confused as to what time your news broadcasts come on live in Thailand. Annie, I've got a message for you. We've stopped doing live for the last 2 months. I'm guessing you were busy or have not been tuning in. However, we stopped our live shows. We now do pre-recorded shows, and they come out about 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock noon Thailand time. So thank you for joining in, and I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you continue to watch our show around noon every day. Any last comments, Mike?
So we've got one from Hissing E Her.
Xing He. So this is a
Xing He.
returning
Excuse
commenter. Xing He. She is a very lovely female who joins our shows almost every day. So what does Xing He have to say?
I'm going to miss Tim in the studio next week.
Okay.
I didn't like the way Kate read the news. Sorry. Jay does a good job on the regional news, so the question, why can't Jay continue with all the news? Is it too much for him to handle?
It probably is. Well, Shinga, to reply to you, unfortunately, due to the time restrictions and the time that we have to prepare for the show, we try to focus mainly on the top headlines only. And Kate has just joined us for this week doing the headlines, and she's getting better and better every day. I hope you support her. She's doing a great job, and I hope she continues to do a great job. And I'm sure she's going to grow on you.
She will indeed.
Right. Are you done for the comments for today?
I think there is one last comment.
Okay.
And it is from Michael Morgan, and he says, ABBA ... slow news day.
Well, possibly. So last Friday we did a small news segment on ABBA and how they've come out, I believe, after 40 years to make a new album and use new technology like deepfake to make new music videos, and they're doing some amazing stuff. It's great to see them back. Are you a fan of ABBA?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Well before my time, unfortunately.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, great. Probably was a slow news day, to be fair, and that's why ABBA's included in that segment.
ABBA's important. ABBA matters. Hashtag ABBA matters. Right, that's all the time we have for today. If you do have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below or email us, or you can also message us on Facebook, all our news shows on YouTube, and also the Tiger Talk forum on the website. Thank you for watching the show. I'd like to thank Mike for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day, guys.
I'd like to thank Jason again behind the buttons, and I'd like to thank you again. See you tomorrow.